Ms. Greene, you're familiar with social media, right?
Yes.
And that's a form of communication, right?
Yes.
You know what Facebook is and Twitter, right?
Yes.
You use those as an important form of communication in your work.
Yes.
You post messages on Facebook, right?
I post statements, messages, yes.
Videos also, right?
Yes.
And you also respond and react to other people's comments when they're posted on Facebook or Twitter, right?
Yes.
And you do that as a way to get your political views out into the world.
It's my freedom of speech to do so.
I agree. And you've been very successful at using social media to get your views out into the world, right?
I would say that's an opinion.
Well, I'm asking your opinion. You've got hundreds of thousands of people who follow you on Twitter and Facebook, right?
No, not really, because my personal Twitter account doesn't exist anymore.
Before it was suspended by Twitter, you had hundreds of thousands of people following you on Facebook and Twitter, right?
Yes.
And by the way, the way Facebook and Twitter work, is my understanding, is they don't have to necessarily follow you to read what you have to say, right?
I guess so.
So it could be millions of people who have read the things that you have said on Facebook and Twitter over the years.
I don't know that.
But it could be. You would agree with that, right?
No, I don't know that.
Okay.
I don't know how many people read or see what I post on social media.
But what you post on social media is what you want people to know about your political beliefs, correct?
Sure.
Okay. You're not putting stuff up there as a joke, are you?
Sometimes, yes.
Well, we'll come back to that. And you use Facebook and Twitter to communicate with your constituents in the 14th Congressional District here in Georgia, right?
Yes.
So, immediately after the 2020 election, and through January 6th, and even beyond that, you issued a number of tweets and made statements on Twitter and Facebook about the election, right?
Yes.
You tweeted a whole lot of material about your views of what happened in the 2020 election.
Yes.
And the thrust of those tweets were that you felt that the election was stolen from the sitting president.
I object. That is,
You can ask the question, what is your opinion?
Well, I also want to ask whether she communicated that opinion through. Well, let's do it that way, Your Honor. I take your point.
Where are you going with this, counsel?
I'm going to show the witness a number of her tweets, and I wanted to make sure that I understand the context of them, that's all.
Well, she said she posts on Twitter.
Right. And my question is whether she posts material that reflect the opinion that you have. Strike that. Ms. Greene, you had the opinion between November 2020, when the election happened, and January 6th, 2021, that the election was stolen from President Trump.
I object.
Am I right about that?
Ask her if you've got questions about specific documents or
Okay.
specific things. Go ahead. Let's not bandy around.
Let's go to PX 2A, Ms. Wells, please.
I'm sorry. Which one is this?
2A, Your Honor. Can you see that, Ms. Greene?
Mm-hmm.
And what we have here in 2A is a document. Well, I'll ask you, can you tell us, is this a statement that you posted on Twitter on December 3rd, 2020?
Go ahead.
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah. And this is a statement where you talk about that you were looking for a senator to join yourself and Representative Mo Brooks to reject the fraudulent votes for Joe Biden and to keep the real Donald Trump in the White House, right?
I object, Your Honor, to the You can hear my objection.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting with bated breath, Jim.
All right. This violates her right of free speech. There's nothing in this statement that meets the Brandenburg test, even if speech could be considered, since it can't when we're dealing with engages, which is conduct, not speech. And it does not even meet the incitement test, which requires directed to inciting or producing imminent lawless action.
Your Honor, we heard an hour of argument this morning on this.
Hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Bob.
Thank you, Your Honor. That is likely to incite or produce action, end of quote. So it's objectionable. And to call her into account for her First Amendment free speech is unconstitutional.
Well, Mr.
and
Bob, I
irrelevant.
appreciate your argument, but that's argument. I'm going to allow the question. Go ahead, Mr. Shelley.
When you sent out this, strike that, did you send out this tweet, Ms. Greene? Ms. Wells, could you put it back up?
Yes.
Okay. And when you sent out this tweet, you wanted the people who read the tweet to know that it was your view that the votes for Mr. Biden for president were fraudulent, or some of them were, right?
That really wasn't the purpose of that tweet.
I'm just asking whether when you sent this, you were communicating to the people who read your Twitter account that you believed that there were fraudulent votes for Mr. Biden and that your goal was to keep President Trump in the White House.
I was communicating that we were looking for a senator to join our objection, which is very much part of the responsibilities and duties that I can do as a member of Congress.
I agree with that, but the purpose of that was because you believed that the votes for Mr. Biden were fraudulent, right? Or at least some of them.
We had been spending a vast amount of time reading and researching and talking to people, and had seen tremendous evidence of voter fraud. I don't know if you're aware, because I know you're not from Georgia. We currently have, our Secretary of State has an
Your Honor,
investigation
I would
going
move to
on
strike this.
into
I'm
election
entitled to
fraud
get answers
right
to
now.
my questions, Your Honor.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Representative Greene. All right, let's back up.
By the way,
What?
Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt. We missed something very important. Can the representative be sworn?
Oh, thank you. No, I swore you.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, I didn't see that. I'm sorry.
I thought I forgot. Sorry. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, no, she's thank you.
And can I ask the court to acknowledge that this is an adverse witness, a hostile
I
witness?
acknowledge that she's an
Okay.
adverse witness, and you
And-
may therefore cross-examine.
Right.
Even
And-
though it's only your case in chief. Yes, I acknowledge that.
And I would ask the court to remind the witness that in this posture, she has to answer my questions. She can't give speeches. Is that fair?
You're entitled to an answer to the question that is asked.
She's
You're
also entitled to make her answer.
You're not entitled to answers that are to require her to answer when the question is objectionable, violates her First Amendment rights, is irrelevant to the charges that are being made, just to what? Fishing expedition, political theater? What is this?
This is cross-examination.
No, this is cross-examination.
I'm entitled to a
Let's-
yes,
let's-
no, or I can't answer response.
Let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Unless it's objectionable.
You have a standing objection, Mr. Bob, to everything in the world. I want to question your witness. Let her
Okay,
question
gentlemen,
Bob.
wait a minute,
She's
wait a
doing
minute,
fine.
wait a minute.
You
That's enough.
instructed me-
Stop. Mr. Bob, please sit down. Next question, Mr. Chairman. This is not theater. This is not an argument from the Supreme Court. This is an evidentiary hearing. So let's get going. Go ahead, Mr. Shelley.
Ms. Wells, can you pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 2C, please?
So which number?
2C. Ms. Greene, is this a tweet that you sent out from your account on December 19th, 2020?
Yes.
And in this tweet, let me go back a second. Your Honor, I would just ask that the previous exhibit, which I think was 2D, be admitted into evidence.
What was the number?
2B.
2A.
I'm sorry, 2A.
All right, so 2A is in. Yes, I'll admit it.
I'd ask that 2C be admitted into evidence.
2C. All right. Say that again. I was distracted. Go through it again.
Sure. I asked the witness if this was her tweet. She said it was.
This is your tweet. Okay.
And I ask that it be admitted into evidence.
I object. It is not probative. It violates her First Amendment rights.
Well,
It has nothing to do with engage. It doesn't. Before January 3rd.
it's in for what it's worth, Mr. Bob.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know it's worth anything, but it's in. Go ahead.
And I apologize, Your Honor.
It's okay.
I do think it's my responsibility to make pertinent issues.
I respect it for you, Mr. Bob. I respect it. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Representative Greene, in your tweet on
This is related.
December 19, 2020, that we've marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 2C, one of the things you're communicating to the people who would read this tweet was that you want them to come to Washington on January 6th for a demonstration. Is that right?
For a march for Trump.
Right. Fight for Trump. The phrase that you use there is hashtag fight for Trump, right? That's what the words say.
That's what it says on my tweet.
Okay. And you posted that because you, in fact, wanted people to show up on January 6th, 2021 in D.C. in order to help you stop the theft of the 2020 election from your point of view.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure we got a clear answer on this. You did believe at this time that the 2020 election had been stolen by the Democrats from Mr. Trump, right?
I was asking people to come for a peaceful march, which is what everyone is entitled to do under their First Amendment, but I was not asking them to actively engage in violence or any type of action.
My question is really simple. It's about your opinion. When this tweet came out, and in this period, it was your opinion that the election had been stolen from Mr. Trump or was about to be stolen, right?
Under my opinion, there was a tremendous amount of fraudulent things that happened in the election, and under my opinion, I want to do anything I can to protect election integrity and to protect the people of my district in Georgia, people's votes. They should count.
Is it fair to say, Representative Greene, that from election night of 2020 until January 6, 2021, your personal opinion and your wish was that Congress not certify Joe Biden as the winner of the 2020 election?
No, that's not accurate.
You believed that Joe Biden had lost the election to Mr. Trump, right?
Well, yes, we saw a tremendous amount of voter fraud. We have investigations going on right now in the state of Georgia. There's investigations going on in multiple states. My own husband showed up to vote in the general election, and when he went in to vote in person, he was told that he had already voted by absentee ballot, when in fact he had never even requested an absentee ballot. There's many instances.
Oh, Your Honor, we could do this now. I understand there's an IT issue that requires a pause.
Okay, well,
Should we take?
how long do we need? 2 minutes? All right, well, everybody just be patient on this stuff. Thank you. Appreciate your patience.